Yeah, it's interesting how there's a lot of sketchy origins for a lot of the big digital platforms like Google and stuff having a kind of relationship to some of the intelligence groups of our government, you know?
Total creations of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing creative, just imposed doctrine. Chomsky's so-called linguistics was absolutely unworkable. It simply destroyed what was known about linguistics and was utterly fraudulent, but just by arrogance and Pentagon money, he changed the way universities teach language and linguistics in a way that doesn't work at all.
How did that shape the world we're in today? You know, that move.
In 1968, I did a student-initiated a course at the University of Oregon in which we asked a well-known professor from each of 10 departments to present a one-week lecture on how what was the most important contribution of his department to understanding the nature of man. And there were people from linguistics, anthropology, literature, sociology, philosophy, 10 separate disciplines. And after about the third lecture, a student came up and said, "This is a joke, isn't it?" Because everyone was saying Chomskyism was their department's best contribution to understanding the nature of humanity.
Interesting.
And it turned out every one of the 10 had that view already in 1968. And already in 1960 or 62, when I was working on it, it was obvious that it was a fraud.
A deliberate fraud?
Yeah. One of his students politely brought up one of his phrases was these rules generate language, and they pointed out that nothing is generated, that you can't know which rule to apply until you know what the form of the language is you want to explain. And he said, of course, to generate is used in the mathematical sense of to account for.
Right.
But he was in his public statements saying to generate describes a creative mechanism in the brain, a genetically installed set of rules, and that these rules are explaining the creative generation of previously unproduced language. But then one of his flight students got him to say, well, no, he just means to generate in the sense of account for.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. So you know, it's interesting because Chomsky is presented as like an anti-establishment figure for the left, but he's really kind of a court jester, in your opinion, huh?
Yeah. His most recent thing about that people who refuse to be vaccinated should be socially isolated, and someone said, well, who would take care of them, basically? How would they survive if they were isolated utterly? And he said that's their concern.
Wow.